Ladies and gentlemen, members and friends, it's Matt Bailey here, your branch director for the Scotch Malt Whisky Society in Australia. And we've had a massive month of Boilermakers. Now, a Boilermaker, or a half and half, or a hoof and hoof, is where you take whiskey and you take a beer and you find perfect matchings. It's where you take a society whiskey, in this case, and match it up with a type of beer that you think will pair really nicely. And that might be a cask like 16.76 peat smoked porter with a smoky porter. That might work really well. Or it might be a craft lager with a craft pale sort of single malt, like something that you find works really well. Or it's always about contrast or compare. Or, you know, and so you find these whiskies that sometimes pair really nicely with beers, or beers that pair really nicely with whiskies, and sometimes one will overwhelm the other. If you watch the virtual tasting of myself and Andrew Durbridge talking about this more in depth from a couple of weeks ago, that's a lot of fun in seeing how that works. But this one was all about members posting their posts of everything that they liked and that they tasted from the last month of Boilermaker pairing. So in Outturn we said, and I'm just making sure I get this right, it says, show us your Boilermakers, win one of 5 bottles of Whiskey Barber Heresy Blended Malt. This is the next release, the next main release, the Whiskey Barber in our Heresy range. Our Heresy range is our fun, approachable way of sharing whiskies. Now, I've not tasted this yet, so this is my first taste of this as well. They've just arrived, and I'm nice clean pop. Let's get a glass of this going. Okay, this is my first taste of this. Bottled at, I just realised, bottled at 58.6%. Now, most of our Heresy range is bottled at 50% drinking strength. This one's bottled a bit higher. This is actually bottled at cask strength. Blended batch 20, matured in a combination of bourbon hogsheads and ex-rum French oak barriques. Let's break that down. So ex-rum casks that have previously used to hold rum. French oak, very nice tight grain structure, very quality oak. And barriques, so wine barriques that have been then used to mature rum that are now extra matured this particular whiskey. The sweetness from the rum cask is immediately there, but it's not overwhelming. It's almost quite soft on the nose, so maybe that works out why they bottled at cask strength instead of 50. I hadn't noticed the proof on this until I just picked it up just now. So, but it's 12 years old. It's 12 years old though, so it's got some proper age on it. It's very oily, very viscous. Lovely rum sweetness to it. That's a lovely drop. Anyway, I'm giving away 5 bottles of that. 5 bottles that you get to taste before anyone else in the country. All by just showing us your photos. Now, I said take a photo of your favourite beer and whiskey pairing using a society whiskey, and the most creative photo and pairing will win one of 5 bottles. So when I say creative, it's just basically my favourites. I think the one that has the most creativity, or consistently good-looking photos from members who have put them out. So I'm going to go through these photos now. There were some submitted via Instagram. There were some submitted via on our Facebook group. So I'm going to put a few votes in here where I can, of just which one's my favourites. I'm going to quickly touch on a lot of them here, but then we'll show the winners at the end. I'm just getting everything up here. I should be more organised, shouldn't I? Here we go. Okay, let's start with Matthew Arclay. He submitted a few entries, so Matthew Arclay, thank you so much. Blue Monkey 7 Mile here with the Jamaican rum Dunder by the Sea. Rum doesn't get enough love here. Good call, good call. The society rums are fantastic, especially those R11s. They're so funky and just delightful. Funky rum even says, yeah, funky rum needed a beer equally as funky. You went with a beer that's banana, blueberry, maple, macadamia, pancake sour, and 9% ABV. That's a big beer, big dram. So, and I love your old school glassware. So points for creativity of using old school society glassware there in a nice beer glass. Great one from Kate Walshaw, the high and the low road. She's drinking a 122.47 Pirates Going Crazy at the Beach with a tin of VB. VB stands for very best. So this is a great bitter with, and you know what? I've always said this. I'll say it a bit nicer this way, but I like fancy whiskey and crap beer. I'm a huge fan, and Kate knows that. And Kate knows me quite well and has definitely done this pairing for my benefit, I feel like. So 122.47 absolutely sings, she says. But it's VB. The VB definitely is the low road of the pairing. Take that back. Okay, moving on. David Gilks. David, you've got a monster of a palette, and your Boilermaker pairings look delightful. This one here, Smoked Scrunch Munch, with I think it's a mountain goat, is it? I actually can't see, but it's a fantastic beer glass. I love that glass. I want to get one of those glasses. Suj Pillai. Now, special shout out to Suj. Suj did I lost track of how many you entered, but here's one with the exotic miso glazed octopus. Great release, and Kaiju, huge soft spot for Kaiju, especially their really big sort of IPAs they put out. Special shout out as well goes to Dave Cook, the only person who did a video entry. We didn't specify how you enter. I think it said, post a photo. You can post a video. Video is just, in the end, lots of photos arranged in order, and it becomes videography, doesn't it? So I guess, and it started with, and now for something completely different. I'll be honest, the video wasn't great, but I love the initiative of doing the actual video. It was one of those things where you go, this is the starting point, and I think if you do more videos, you'll just get better at it. It's like doing these silly videos for me. I think I'm used to them by now. Eshan De Silva, Marmalade Overdrive. Good to see a heresy being used with a tin of Captain Bly's. I've had some tins of Captain Bly's beers. They're great. In fact, I've had Captain Bly's a few times when I've been at Captain Bly's. And I think back then they were only open one day a month or something. Anyway, Sandy Hamilton Reid is on the move. He's got picked up some classic beers to try. I love this one because it's a Cooper's Sparkling with a Cocktail Party 35. That just to me screams of a beautiful, clean, bright. It's one of my favourite beers. Cooper's Green's a great beer, up there with Cooper's Red. With Cocktail Party, a Juicy Oak and Vanilla 35. That's just fantastic to see as well. That's by the way, mate, that is a magnificently big pour on that dram. So I commend you. Blair Findlay. Blair is I think I'm getting this right, Blair is a relatively recent member of the society, and he's posted a couple of times up, both on Facebook and Instagram, after I drive up the highway to wander around the Queen Victoria Market, and a 400-gram ribeye with roast potatoes and a glass of Shiraz as a reward. The last thing I probably need is more indulgence, but I earned it. The second appearance of this beer is Blackman's in Boilermaker month. Yes. So there's cookies and cream bourbon barrel-aged stout with 4.329 Collider smoke. First of all, the fours lately, like Hillwalker's Delight in this current August outturn, and recently we've had the fours through, have been phenomenal. Truly phenomenal. The team at Whisker Now might keep calling them the most farmyardy kind of whiskies, and I couldn't agree more. They're just a delight. They're just they're farmyardy. They're soft floral heather smoke in a glass, and they're not overwhelming. They're just beautifully balanced, and I thoroughly agree. Okay, Matthew Beggs has here probably one of the most interesting and complex Boilermakers ever done. Playing in the sour wild ale space is something that I've not often done with Boilermakers, but this one from Wildflower seemed to just balance the whiskey perfectly. Yep. Love Wildflower. Great brewery. Captain Bly IPA. Another Eshan post. Corbin Mondi. What have we got here? So what I like about this is there's clearly some bottle swaps going on, which I encourage. I remember some people bottle swapping months ago, and they were trying to make sure we didn't see it, or we can't post that on social media because we're bottling our own, and it's all that kind of stuff. You know what? As long as you're sharing good spirit around it, that's all that matters. If you're sharing good whiskey around it, or good spirit, I should say. In this case, it's because SMWS rums from Corbin here. I'm going to detract a point though. I can't actually see what rums they are. I think one's an R2 and one's an R13. R13's a rare as hen's teeth. They're very good. Michael White is a grey nomad travelling in his caravan, but doesn't mean you can't go without good beer in an SMWS malt. Michael, I hope you're well. Always good to see you at our events. Found here a Sailor's Grave. Oh, love Orbost. Love Sailor's Grave. Orbost is a beautiful part of the world. Have some friends there. Lovey Anchovy from Isla. Yes, that's getting good points, that one. Another from David Gilks. Michael Walshall entered a few, I think, as well. Boilermaker month. He went with Stomping Ground and Take Me to the Chippy. Great whiskey from last month's festivals. Now, Zach Charamises, apologies, I think I'm getting your name right. So Zach Charamises says, first time poster here, so bear with me. tonight's pairing is B7.3 with Hawker's 2024 Black Barley Wine. Great photo, great cask, and great beer. Very creative pairing as well, pairing up a barley wine with a corn-based whiskey. You'd almost think, how does that work, being, it's not a barley-based spirit, but it's a barley-based beer. And if you find that pairing of sweet and savoury and biscuity all together in that pairing, that sounds delightful. That's getting good points for creativity, that one. Bacchus, Puppetry of the Peanuts. Another one from Matthew Arkley with 33.133. Another great one from Matthew Beggs, another Suj Pillai. Look, there's definitely some double ups. I'm just trying to make sure I capture all the single ones that people entered as well. Steve Griggs, Fleury Breweries and Cigarello Smoked Dark Lager. That's great. With the he's gone with the Plunge into Chocolate Sponge. That was an underdog of last year's festival releases. One of my favourites. It actually tasted like chocolate cake in a glass. What else have we got here? We've got Hems. Hems entered. It said it's a winner, and I love this photo with we've got gone to the effort of putting a number one medal around a bottle of B6.2. Great bourbon. That was one of my favourite bourbons. I think that came out like 2 years ago. It was called Pumpkin Red Apple Sauce. Just delightful, really just rich and treacly bourbon, that one. With a homemade chocolate stout. So you're scoring high with me because you've not only done a Boilermaker and taken a great photo, but the creativity has meant you've made your own beer, which no one else did. So that's pretty up there. Mark Teague, of course, Launceston Flavour Hunters Festival with Writing Bureau and a Bogues 3X Ale. It's like 4X, but it missed an X. And everyone thought that you'd poured the whole bottle of a Writing Bureau in a wine glass because the fizz was so low. I thought it was quite funny. It's a good photo, though. Thank you. Eggster, what have we got here? Suj, we've got Sandy again, we've got David again, we've got Matthew, we've got lots of entries, lots of multiples, which is great to see coming through. Mark Warshall, a Boilermaker match with some new wheels, a split personality 3 ways. This geriatric before spent most of its life in ex-bourbon cask. There's a story behind that word. Anyway, but before being finished in SDR, a shaved toast recharge, giving it all the subtle complexities associated with bourbon casks, but additional sweetness and punch from the finishing casks. Yes, not overwhelming, but more spirit. This is true, and a bottle that won't last long due to deliciousness. The Sludge Beast from Little Bang is a 12% beer, but drinks like it's 7%. Now, he's photographed this in the back of his kettle, a nod to me, because I keep telling Mark, because he's bought 2 Teslas now, that he keeps buying appliances, and one day he'll buy a car. And I'm just doing that to wind him up, because I do like Teslas. I have to say that I don't like Teslas because it just gets such a good reaction. Remember when the iPhone came out, and if you didn't have an iPhone, if you had an Android, it was like, you don't have an iPhone. It's the same with Teslas now. Everyone just has to be a Tesla. Anyway, it's good. I like this pairing. I like the effort you've gone to, and you've even got a cloth down on the Duco on the paint to make sure that your glassware and bottle do not scratch the paint, which I respect. But ultimately, you didn't need to do that because the finishing on Teslas is already so bad, it wouldn't matter if you added some more scratches. Great pairing, though. Fox Hat and Dark Lord of Stromness, another sewage post, and one from Tom at the Oak Barrel on Instagram here. I like this one because it's got the hand. It's creative. It's fun. Look, there's so much going on here. I think I have to give out some winners, though. So let's give out some winners. Here are my winners for Boilermaker competition. And thank you for enduring this video, watching through to the end if you've endured this and maybe had a laugh along with me. Okay, my winners are... I'm giving 1 bottle of Whiskey Barber to Dave Cook because you did a video entry. That's fantastic. Like, I was being critical of the video, but the fact is you went to the effort of making a video, excuse me, of your pairing, which I think is just fantastic to see. I'm giving 1 of these Whiskey Barbers to Michael White, who's travelling around Australia at the moment, so we might hold on to your bottle until you get back. It's up to you. He's saying he's a great nomad in the caravan. I'm giving him to you because you went to the effort of having the map, the glass there, the Sailor's Grave. Huge fan of Sailor's Grave. Huge fan of the Orbost region. And I think just having whiskey on your travels on the road is a great way to enjoy it. I'm giving 1 bottle to Zach Charamisi's, first time poster, and he's gone barley wine and corn, and I think that's kind of cool. So that gets an award for creativity as well. I'm definitely giving one to Hems. Hems, you're a winner as well. It says you wrote it's a winner, and I think the fact that you've made your own beer and pairings here is fantastic. And and she's good at winning these, but it's a win for Kate Walshall as well, because she knows me. She knows that she knows I love VB, and that's a cool pairing, and she's got even VB glassware to go with it as well. But I am going to actually, I said I was only giving away 5 of these. I'm going to give away 2 more. I'm going to give one to Suj. Suj Pillai, you entered so many times. I didn't even capture all of your entries. I think it was just great seeing you trying different films with different beers with different drams every time. And Matthew Arklay, because mate, you've been smashing it, and I think you need some more whiskey in your life and less rums, but not less rums, but more whiskey. Look, there were so many good entries. Congratulations to everyone who won a bottle, and I'm sorry if you didn't win one this time around. There were some very close calls, very close calls indeed. So congratulations to all those who won this time around. I'll send you a bottle valued at $169, a bottle of Whiskey Barber, blended malt, 58.6%. It's actually delightful. I'm going to have another sip of that now. Take care wherever you are. Happy drowning. Hope you're well. And we'll see you all soon for our next event, next virtual, next outturn, and hope you're in good spirits. Sanjava.